Welcome everybody to the live training. I'm going to do something a little bit different tonight, and I'm really excited about this that I've been working on, and I've been trying to figure it out. And so you guys are one of the new people that I am going to be showing it first. So I'm really excited. We're not going to do a hypnosis session, but this is all going to tie together, and it's going to help you to figure out when you're doing the hypnosis sessions and the mini meditations to help guide you in between them to figure out who you want to be, to figure out where you want to go, and how mindset works in between that. So one of the reasons I called it 1 degree of mindset, because I love this idea that we eating the elephant one bite at a time, or just making 1 degree changes is what really changes our life. And that has hit me more than anything. And it's really come to make me aware of how we achieve things. It was just very much a light bulb moment, because I realized in mindset, when I was working on myself to overcome diagnoses, trauma, everything that I was dealing with, and just really an unhappy way of thinking, an unhappy life, I realized that this is what I was doing. I was making little 1 degree turns. However, I didn't really realize that because I wasn't doing that in anywhere else in my life. And so when I learned that, I thought, well, got it. That's why it worked. So I wanted to share with you guys what I did to change my mindset just a little bit at a time, because a lot of times you hear this willpower, just speak well, just like go for it, just be positive, and sometimes we don't know how to do that, especially if for years, like I had a horrible mindset for a good 30 years. It was just awful. And for someone to just switch it and say, well, think positive, or, set intentions and just speak what you want and create, you're going, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm going to show you guys, there are a few areas that have really helped me, and then how to make tiny little changes in those areas, especially if you feel extremely overwhelmed. Like if you are dealing with ADD, if you are dealing with anxiety and any mental health, bipolar, like this is where I was at. Okay. So I know it works because I was there and I'm not. And so this is what I did if you're struggling with that. But even in just regular life, if you want to get a little bit better, you don't have to be extreme in order to use these. That's what's great about it. Okay. So the first thing and the first area that I started to change and that I recommend to people is a routine. Now, one of the things that feels really hard, because when you start watching people, they just, especially people who have a very neurotypical brain, they just start putting things in, and I'm going to do this. And maybe they're like, at 9 o'clock, I'm doing this. At 9:05, I'm doing this. And they just start switching stuff. One of the things that I really want to emphasize is give yourself time. Be very gracious with yourself in finding what works. So it's great if you look at calendar blocking and love the idea of calendar blocking. That's great. But you may find that that doesn't work for your life. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It just means it doesn't support maybe the way your brain works, or maybe where you're at in life. It's fine. So there's so many different ways that you can have a routine, you can have a system, that you can maybe a schedule is really what will support you. But remember to not shame or guilt yourself because it has to look a certain way and you're not able to meet that, because that's not true at all. One of the places that I started is I went throughout my day. I did not schedule anything. I did not, other than the things that were already scheduled and already planned. And I started writing out what my day actually looked like. And this is really important. I did this for about a week. So for a week long, you can do it however long you need it. But for about a week long, I just wrote out what I did. So I wrote out what time I naturally would wake up. I wrote out what I did after breakfast. And the interesting thing was I had this belief system that I don't get anything done throughout the day. I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't get anything done and I don't feel accomplished. But I'm exhausted. I was so exhausted, but I'm like, I don't get anything done. I'm the laziest person. And when I started writing things out and I started seeing how my day went, it was really fascinating for me to watch how many times I had to clean the kitchen or how many times I was cooking a meal, a snack, because I had little kids, because somebody needed something, because somebody was hungry or somebody needed a mess cleaned up. And it was really interesting that it gave me a lot of permission to stop shaming myself, to stop guilting myself into what I thought it should look like. And then I was able to start seeing the areas that were not helping me and start seeing the areas that were good habits and the areas that weren't good habits. So this took a little bit of time because I really had a way of thinking around what my routine should look like, what my day should look like. And it wasn't matching up. And so it was really messing with my head as far as productivity and what I thought I was accomplishing. And so when I wrote this down, it really helped me understand where the holes were. So it doesn't matter where you want to start, just pick something. The next thing with routine is, let's say you have a great routine, but you want to add something to it. And again, you're a person who maybe fights their brain or it's something that you've tried before and it's really, really hard. So for me, I really wanted to wake up early and I just felt like it was so hard. And every time I would try it, I just felt so defeated because it wasn't working. And then what I started doing is this 1%, right? This tiny little shift. So when I would wake up early, that was it. That I accomplished it. And what I was normally trying to do is I'd wake up early, I'm going to work out, I'm going to be creative, I'm going to write in my journal, I'm going to meditate. And so I would wake up early and this was a brand new habit. This was a brand new thing. And I was already fighting my head. And so I felt like I was already defeated because I could not keep up with this, what I thought it looked like in my head. And I want you to recognize that when you make a change, that is going to disrupt your brain. It's going to disrupt what is happening. Your brain is not familiar with that. And so allow yourself to make these little changes. So if you get up in the morning, if you want to wake up at 4:30 or 5 or 6, and that's really hard for you, if you just set an alarm and you wake up and you sit there and it takes you a minute to get up, that's a win because you did it. Because you accomplished what it is that you were planning to do. And give yourself time to add the next thing. So, routine. That's the first part. The second one, meditation. Now, there are so many ways to meditate, and I'm not going to talk a ton about this, but one of the things that if you just start, you're going to feel like you're not really doing anything because especially the first couple of times, it's going to feel like that was pointless. One of the things that I would recommend if you're going to start meditating is sometimes when your brain is like going 90 miles an hour, it's really hard to sit there and concentrate and you just feel like, what's the point? If you do, that's one of the reasons I do the mini hypnosis sessions, that is a great way to start training your brain to slow down, to focus. Not slow down, it doesn't make it slow down, but to focus. And so if you just start doing these little things, it's going to increase more and more. So the third thing is invest in yourself. Investing in yourself is so important because this is where we allow ourselves to take care of ourselves. I think for girls, it's really easy. We see a lot of like the cute stickers of self-care and mani-pedi day, and that's great. But one thing that I think is really overlooked is guys don't typically have a lot of self-care things. So I wanted to make sure I said invest in yourself, because it's really important that you take time for yourself, learn the things that help you decompress, learn the things that help you process emotions, figure out hobbies that you like, figure out what it is that just lights a fire under you and just genuinely brings you passion and life and excitement into this world. So invest in those things. Invest in the fact that of figuring out what it is that brings you joy. Which kind of brings me to the next one. And this is learn about yourself. So learning about yourself, so often with self-help books, it's a lot of like willpower or diet and exercise, and those things are great. But one thing with learning about yourself is understanding your rules. Now, I said this in another training talking about, our rules on the things that bring us happiness and really how we move through this life. If you don't understand how it is that you move through this life, it becomes really hard and you often follow other people's rules. And then we often can't figure out what it is that why we're unhappy. And the reality is we're following other people's rules. We're following, this person looks happy over here, so I'm going to try doing it their way. And that's never going to work for you if that doesn't align with who you are. So one of the things in learning about who you are, learning what your rules are, is starting with your energy type. I love Carol Tuttle. She is known for energy types. She talks about who you are, how you process information, how you send information. One of the I'll use myself and my husband as an example. So I am a lower energy person and my husband is a high energy person. But the interesting thing is my husband was raised in a very low energy family. So there was a lot of, he was too much, calm down, slow down. You're too much, right? Boys are just they're so a lot. And it's not true. It's just who he is as a person. It's intense. He's got a lot of great energy that gets things done. And it's a great, amazing quality. And if you're that type of person, you get a lot of results done. And it's amazing what you can accomplish. But it was very much, and in society, it's a lot of times shamed, especially in school, that you're too much. Now, on the opposite side of that, I am a low energy, but I had a very high energy family. So my shaming, my guilting was very different. It was get up, go faster. What are you doing? Like, why? Like, come on, move, go, 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 go. And so I was constantly like, gotta move, gotta go. Where are we going? And it was a lot of like this stress feeling. And I was put in a lot of very uncomfortable situations for a person who's a low energy. And I learned a lot from that, but it also caused some problems as well. One of the keys, if you're not really sure which one you are, if you have a lot of illnesses like autoimmune problems, that is very typical for someone who is more of a lower energy, but forced to be very intense, forced to go much faster than what they're comfortable or what they like and is normal for, or who they're aligned to be. So this is why it's so important, because you can imagine when my husband and I got married, here I'm a person who's like, go, 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 go. That's the way we're supposed to be. Go, move, faster, faster, faster. Like, what are we doing this weekend? What do you want to go? You want to go to the farmer's market? Should we go this? We can't just sit at home. That's not a thing. That's not right. And then you had my husband who wanted to get things done, but it was like, let's slow down. Let's think about it. We got to think about this. Wait a minute. Hold on. So it was really interesting at a lot of times. When we figured this out, it was very interesting to realize how much of a low energy I am and how much of a higher energy he is, because now we were able to switch those roles, and by moving in the energy that we are naturally, who we naturally are, what we project, we're much happier. We work together so much better because we take on the roles, we take on the jobs, we take on the things in our lives that support who we are. If we have a lot of company or we have friends over, I am very happy being in the kitchen in a calm, reserved environment. He's very happy socializing and being the one center of attention. So I really trust that this information was helpful, and I genuinely wanted it to add value to your lives. This was such an aha moment for me. So I genuinely hope that that you can find some nuggets in there that are going to help you. I love talking about this. If anybody, if you want to chat or you have any questions, I love to talk about it. I typically do hypnosis session, and this often goes well if you are struggling in any of these areas. If you can't figure out who you are, if you feel guilty spending money on yourself, those are the different things where hypnosis works. And if you find yourself as you're going through these, I have a bunch of trainings in here. I have a bunch of mini hypnosis sessions that you can go through and start working on those, to release those, to let it go, so you can start investing in yourself, learning about yourself, and really creating an amazing life that you deserve. So I hope you all have an amazing evening, and I will talk to you guys next week.